Okay, so given quadrilateral ABCD with A16, B66, C52, and D02, prove that quadrilateral ABCD is a parallelogram. Which plan for a proof for this problem makes the most sense? Prove opposite angles are congruent by using the distance formula and definitions of angles. Prove opposite sides are parallel by using distance formula and the definition of parallel lines. Prove one pair of opposite sides are parallel and congruent by using the distance formula and the definition of parallel lines, or prove that opposite sides are congruent by using the distance formula and the transitive property of equality. Okay, one way I would go through and answer this is I would look for an example that has very similar given and very similar what they want in proof. So they're given just the coordinates and they're wanting us to prove that it's a parallelogram. So I would just scan through here. Notice that it says quadrilateral ABC with coordinates A3, 2, and they are wanting it to be a rhombus. A rhombus is a more specific type of a parallelogram. So I'm just going to see if there is another one. So this is proving that it's a rectangle. So let's keep going. We're just wanting to prove that it is a parallelogram. Okay, so this one says given, I'm not sure, I think it might be because I'm zoomed in so much. Okay, there we go. And I gotta find this again. Okay, so here's given quadrilateral with our vertices, prove that ABCD is a parallelogram. So it has the exact same given, just different coordinates for the points, and it's wanting the exact same thing. So I'm going to scan through the paragraph proof and see what they did. So the first thing that I'm noticing is that they're using the distance formula right here to find the side lengths. So again, they are finding it. Right here they're doing substitution, and it says since opposite sides are congruent, so they use the distance formula, they use the definition of congruent segments, and opposite sides are congruent. That's what they did in this paragraph proof. So then I'm going to go back and see if the options that they give to us includes that. So it says prove opposite angles. Nope, they didn't talk about angles. They talked about opposite sides. So they used prove opposite sides are parallel by using the distance formula and definition of parallel lines. No, they didn't use definition of parallel lines. They used the congruent by using the distance formula and the transitive property of equality. Yes. They did use definition of congruent segments. They use opposite sides. So the transitive property of equality again is like if AB is equal to, if segment AB is equal to 3 and segment DC is equal to 3, that the transitive property says then the distance of AB is equal to the distance of DC. So it just cuts out the 3 and it just says we can skip. So it would be the transitive property, prove that opposite sides are congruent, and that's how I would use the information that they gave, is I would look for one that's very similar to us. And we found one that was identical actually with exactly what they gave us and exactly what they wanted us to prove. So that's how I would go through this, and I hope that helps.